The Voyager probes took some of the most stunning photos of our solar system back in the late 70s and early 80s, and when they flew past the planet Uranus, they also revealed several tiny moons that no one had ever seen before. But while they revealed these 10 small moons, scientists believe there could be a whole lot more, possibly up to 30 more. However, seeing them is very difficult, because they are quite literally dwarfed by the majestic rings of Uranus. But in 2014, scientists found a way to spot these hidden moons, and it has to do with how they affect those very same rings. The new study was published in the journal Nature Astronomy, and it uses data from the Voyager missions along with newer data from the Keck Observatory in Hawaii. The team behind this research is led by Matt Tiscareno from the University of Florida. He and his team found at least 5 more moons that had never been noticed before, bringing the total number of known moons of Uranus to 27, and they believe there could be closer to 30. Okay, so let's get into it. This is the second time that we have talked about Uranus's small inner moons. The first time was back in September of last year. That previous study identified 14 previously unknown moons by looking for their effect on the rings of Uranus. They were able to determine the size of these moons based on how much they shake up the rings. Basically, a bigger moon causes more chaos in the rings. So the larger the shaking, the larger the moon. So why did the Voyager space probes miss these small moons? Well, it's because they were just too dim to be seen. Their resolution wasn't high enough. But since then, technology has gotten better, and we can observe these moons even though they're still pretty tiny. These new moons orbit close to the planet and inside the rings of Uranus. The majority of them are about 6 miles or 10 kilometers in diameter, and they formed somewhere else in the solar system and then got captured by the gravitational pull of the planet. However, not all of them are like this. Some of them might have formed from material that was kicked up by impacts from meteorites hitting the rings. And as that debris coalesced together, it formed these small moons. Scientists are calling these small moons moonlets, because they kind of bridge the gap between the larger moons and the smaller asteroids that also orbit Uranus. There are many more of these smaller asteroids than there are moons, so it would make sense that some of them are actually moons in disguise. So if these small moons are what is causing the disturbance in the rings, how were the scientists able to tell which parts of the rings were caused by moons and which parts were caused by other things like the spaces between the rings, which are called gaps, or the waves created by the moons, which are called corrugations? Well, it's fairly simple, really. They just looked at how the rings moved over time. You see, while the Voyager probes were flying by Uranus, they were only able to image a small slice of the rings. But after Voyager passed, scientists were still able to look at the rest of the rings from Earth, and that gave them a good idea of how fast the rings rotate. This is important because it lets them know how long it takes for a particular part of the ring to pass a certain point in its orbit. Using this data, they knew when they would be able to see the same part of the ring again from Earth. And when they did, they found that the ring was in almost exactly the same position as it was when Voyager flew past. That meant that the part of the ring that they were looking at was being affected by something outside of the normal gravitational pull of Uranus. In other words, it was being affected by a moon. It turns out that the Voyager probe took images of these small moons, but they were literally lost in the shuffle of all the other data that was collected during the flyby. It was until they started looking at the newer data from Keck Observatory that they were able to piece together what was happening here. They were able to confirm that these mysterious features in the rings were indeed being caused by these small moons. And not only that, they were able to learn something else as well. While the team expected to find maybe 1 or 2 new moons, they ended up finding 5. And that doesn't mean that there aren't any more moons there. It's just that they couldn't confirm their existence with the data they had. They don't have enough data to say for sure. However, based on the gaps and corrugations in the rings, they estimate that there could be as many as 30 small moons orbiting Uranus. Now, it's not clear whether all of these moons are captured asteroids, or whether some of them formed from the rings themselves. More data needs to be collected to help answer this question. but the researchers do believe that the majority of them are captured asteroids. That means that the inner moons of Uranus could be even more diverse than we thought. It could be that some of them have icy surfaces, while others are more rocky. Either way, we'll have to wait and see what the future holds. At the moment, it's still unclear exactly how many moons Uranus has. The International Astronomical Union recognizes 27 moons, but there could be more. It's possible that there are even hundreds of small moons that are yet to be discovered. All we know for sure is that the true number lies somewhere between the 27 moons we currently know about, and the 30 or so moons that scientists estimate are out there. One thing is for sure, though these small moons are fascinating objects in their own right, they offer us a unique opportunity to learn more about the formation of planetary systems, and who knows what else we might find out about them in the future. What do you think about these hidden moons of Uranus? Do you think there are even more out there that we haven't found yet? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe so you never miss an upload. And if you want to support us even further, consider becoming a patron where you can watch each of our videos before they republish to the public. You can also check out our new video suggestions to watch more amazing videos about the cosmos. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.